rush in and be aggressive when everyone else is being timid and be timid when everyone else is being aggressive.
Hey there, everyone. Dave Barlow here with Sell for 1% Realtors. We have my youngest son, Jaime, a.k.a. Jaime. And Jamie's been with us about 6 years now and going strong. And we also have Rich Sircone with Equitable Finance. And Rich, all kinds of things happening out there in the world of interest rates, mortgages, the Fed, the European Union. And I know there's probably about 1,000 other things that go into the kettle here to come up with what should today's rates be. And I know that you're the man to go to get the straight answers.
Right. You got thousands of things going in, and the straight answer is the rates are about the same as they have been for the last 30 or 60 days, which is somewhere in the 7.25 to 7.3 range, generally speaking. Now, I do want to say, Dave, if you have any first-time home buyers out there, they should contact us, because if you're a first-time home buyer, your income of less than $80,000, and you're interested in getting into a home, rates are in the sixes for somebody like you. There's programs available, and the down payment is as little as 3% down, and you get a good conventional fixed rate mortgage. So that's the good news, is that first-time home buyers should be looking at this market. I understand that, there's a little bit more wiggle room to negotiate a little bit with the seller in the last 30 days or so, and rates for you are in really good shape. So that's one positive note that I'll pass on. When it comes to interest rates, and what the Fed is looking at, we had producer price index inflation numbers this morning, the PPI it's called. It was 0.3% hotter than what the economists had predicted. The core PPI was 0.4% higher. I'm sorry, the core PPI was exactly on line, and the retail sales number was 0.4% higher than what they thought. So we have hot retail sales, we have prices still increasing, and the Fed is meeting next week. The anticipation is that it's very likely they may raise rates again a quarter. But most economists feel we're coming to the end of the cycle of rate increases. And the European Central Bank this morning stated that they raised rates a quarter, and usually we're falling pretty much in lockstep with each other, the Central Bank of Europe, the Central Bank of the U.S. They raised rates a quarter, but they seemed in some of their statement and telegraphing of what their intents are in the future to say that interest rates probably are at a sufficiently high level that they don't anticipate needing to continue to increase rates to tamp down the economy. So that was a positive statement that the central bank made. And if we get the same kind of language from the Fed next week, that could be something that portends to lower rates moving forward. Because as I've said before, we're always looking forward, and so sometimes what the Fed does on any given day is not as important as what they say they're going to do in the future. So that's what we're looking for right now. When are these interest rate increases going to end? When is the Fed going to get to a even monetary policy? And possibly when is the Fed going to start to lower rates? Is that end of 24? Is that 2025? Of course, we have the election next year. So there's a lot of factors playing into it. But the bottom line for anyone watching right now is rates are still in the 7.2 to 7.3 range on a 30-year fix with no points.
So according to Freddie Mac, I think we're in the third week of small rate declines, which, any decline is always good for the buyer. I do like the idea of your first-time home buyers being able to get a really good rate as compared to what's happening with the overall market and rates. But I think that for me, the Fed is always, it's reactionary. You said that, looking forward, it seems like to me they're always like looking backwards. They're, driving a car using the rear view mirror only. They were slow to try to stop inflation. And, the hope is that they don't overreact and put too much pressure on the economy that then it collapses into, either another great recession or
Right.
worse yet, a depression of some sort. Jaime, you work with a lot of buyers. What are your buyers saying and thinking?
A lot of the same. People that want to buy a house and for whatever reason, either really want or need to buy a house and put down some roots are still buying. And on the sale side, I mean, we're seeing if you're pricing it correctly, there's spurts where things are selling. You can't be way overpriced right now. So, but on the buying side, I mean, it's not as crazy and hot and urgent as when there was 4%, 3, 4, 5% interest rates, but people still need to buy houses. People still need, to buy homes to move into and plant some roots down. So, it's still moving along.
I saw a stat the other day, 83 people a day moving into Columbus, which translates to about 25,000 per year. And that's about equal to what MORPC, Middle Ohio Regional Planning Commission, has projected for the next 20 to 25 years, that we're going to see anywhere from 750,000 to 1 million people move into the Columbus metro. And so, like you're saying, James, those people, are going to be buying because they're putting down new roots from another city. You hate to say that, 7% is the new norm. And Rich, you can talk a little bit more about this, but even at 7%, that's still less than the 30-year average mortgage rate that we've over the past 30 years.
Right. Yeah. It still is a rate that, it's doable and it's still below average, as you said. Of course, we remember, Dave, double-digit interest rates.
Yep.
So and we always have to be keeping in mind that when there's a little bit of softness in the housing market, it's sometimes a good time to buy. As Warren Buffett said, rush in and be aggressive when everyone else is being timid, and be timid when everyone else is being aggressive. This might be one of those times where you get a little aggressive because people are starting to pull back and say, well, I don't want to buy. So you get yourself into a house, and then we offer low cost refinancing. So when rates do drop, maybe in 24 sometime, or maybe 25, it's a very temporary situation. Your interest rate is temporary. It's not something that ideally you're going to live with for 30 years. When I got into business 25 years ago, I thought to myself, why am I getting in this business? Because you give somebody a mortgage and they have them for 30 years, and where am I going to find another customer? And ironically, what I've found out is that my clients have refinanced 5, 6, 7, 10 times because of interest rate fluctuations, or maybe needing to pull equity out of their house. So even though you think you're signing up for a 30-year fixed mortgage, the actuarially speaking, they usually turn over within 5 to 7 years maximum. Most people do not hold a mortgage longer than that.
Well, and that's the interesting thing. I think when I started in real estate, the average length of time that a homeowner stayed in their home was around 7 years. And since, we had the financial meltdown in 2008, and then, the COVID stuff and so on and so forth, and now interest rates, that number is now a little closer to 9 years. And so I know when I go out on a listing appointment, I ask people, how long have you been here in the house? Oh, we've been here for 27 years. And it's like, well, you're not doing your part to keep me employed. You need to sell your home every 7 to 8 years. That way you keep the economy moving. It always gets a little chuckle, but, that's where you get your averages. I've had clients that bought a home and, 6 months later, situation changed. They had to move out of town. You sell the house. So when you put in the 6-month guy against the guy that's been there for 20 years, you come up with that 8-9 year average. So anyways, so we'll sit tight. Next Thursday, the Fed's going to prognosticate to the world what they're going to do, and then give us a few hints as to what they think the future will bear as well. So we'll talk with you, Rich, next Thursday and kind of go over that information.
Looking forward to it, Dave.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us here this morning. We'll give you the usual that if you like what you're seeing, to click that subscribe button, click that bell. So when we add new content, we do this once a week here with our interest rates. And then we're always adding other informational items that we think you guys can use as home buyers, home sellers, or if you're just curious about the Columbus, Ohio market, give us a like, and we'd love to hear from you. Our contact information is here on the screen. Want to buy a home, call Jaime. Want to sell a home, give me a buzz. Need to get a mortgage or a refinance or whatever, pull some equity out of your home. Keep Rich in mind. His contact information, again, here is on screen. So, again, thank you, guys. Look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you, Dave.